What's up, you guys? We're back with another raid video, and this one we're doing Chi-Yu, the final one out of the 4. We're finally getting this one. I know everyone's excited for this one, so let's just jump right into it. These are my 3 favorite builds for these Chi-Yu raids. All right, so first up, let's dive into Hisuian Samurott. So Hisuian Samurott is going to be probably the best one overall. Now this might be a little bit tricky to get a hold of just because you need Pokemon Legends Arceus to obtain this Pokemon as far as I'm aware. So that might be a bit of a downside for some people, but I do think this one's gonna be one of the best ones. Now let's go ahead and talk about the build itself for Hisuian Samurott. That being, I invested fully in HP and attack with an adamant nature and used its hidden ability Sharpness to boost those slicing moves. For its move set, instead of going with Aqua Cutter like a lot of people I've seen do Aqua Cutter, I went with Razor Shell instead. You're actually still going to get the boost from Sharpness, but you also get a 50% chance of lowering defense, so you can kind of get that snowballing effect that I really like with some other builds that we've done in later videos. So yeah, really like that. And then turn 1 Focus Energy, and that's pretty much all you really need. And then I just slapped a Shell Bell on it, so then I'm getting health back, so I don't just die. And you're gonna resist pretty much everything Chi-Yu's gonna throw at you because you're a water dark type. So all the fire moves and all of the dark type moves are not gonna do that much damage to you, and you don't care about Snarl because you're a physical attacker. But you do have to watch out with the fire type moves like Heat Wave of getting burned, so that's a potential, you know, kind of bummer situation. You can, I think, use the Healing Cheer to kind of get around this, but it does take up a turn. But other than that, I still think that the positives of using Hisuian Samurott, if you can get your hands on one, definitely outweigh the downsides. So definitely a really, really strong build. Highly recommend it, especially if you're going with people online and they bring a Kyogre. This one, it should do easy work to Chi-Yu. So. All right, so next up we have Araquanid. Now Araquanid is a pretty interesting build. I invested fully again into HP and attack. Now there's a lot to unpack here with its ability, and this is why it's considered one of my favorites for these raids. So it has the Water Bubble ability. So the Water Bubble ability, it will lower fire type attacks to Araquanid. So basically it kind of treats it as like a not very effective move because Bug is weak to fire and water resistant, so it'd normally be a neutral damage. So yeah, the fire moves aren't going to do like anything really to Araquanid, which is great. And then also it boosts your water attacks by 50%, so Araquanid will do a little bit more damage. And then it also prevents Araquanid from getting burned. So all around, like, this is a great package just for these Chi-Yu raids. Now with every upside here, we're gonna talk about the move set and attack stat. This is where the downside comes into play. That being, it's not gonna do as much damage as like Hisuian Samurott or some of these other Pokemon, just because it's just not a really strong physical attacker compared to them. But if you're looking for something to just survive these raids and just tank all these hits after hits after hits, then Araquanid's gonna be the perfect Pokemon for you. I put on Liquidation and I kind of just slapped on Leech Life and Lunge, even though you're not really gonna use it. But you can be a really great support Pokemon if you're doing like online raids with people by the move in entrainment, and that will actually give other people the Water Bubble ability. So if you have other people who have water type Pokemon in your raid with you, use entrapment on them and they'll also get all the benefits that you have with your ability, that being the boost to your water type attacks, the not being able to be burned, and lowering the fire type damage output to your Pokemon. So yeah, this kind of is really centralized around Araquanid's ability, but still really strong if you just, in a great kind of like, I would say budget option, not really budget, but like you don't have to go to another game to get this Pokemon, and you know, you can, it's a lot more accessible, I think, than Hisuian Samurott. So yeah, this is also a great option for people and highly recommend it. So yeah, really great Pokemon, and let's dive into our last one. All right, guys, if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that my last build is my favorite and usually kind of wacky, and this one definitely is still a little wacky, but it's fun. I really enjoy it. And so we're going to talk about Baxcalibur as my third favorite option, and this one's just kind of fun because it's different, but we're also going to take advantage of the Thermal Exchange ability. So Thermal Exchange boosts attack when it's hit with a fire type move, and it can be burned. So that's super helpful, not being able to be burned by that heat wave, because it's definitely going to happen to you as you're just doing raids. And I just invested in HP and attack. So the downside of Baxcalibur is that you don't resist any of its attacks. So even though, you know, you have this cool ability, fire types are still going to do neutral damage, and same with dark. So there's no super effective moves, but there's also no resistance either. So you're just going to get hit a little bit harder with some of these other moves compared to the last builds that I talked about. So let's go ahead and talk about the moves. This is where things get interesting. So to hit super effectively for Chi-Yu and do the most damage, I put Earthquake, and I also have Focus Energy on here, along with High Horsepower, but I'm not convinced that you really need it. So turn 1, you Focus Energy, and then you just spam Earthquake, and then you have Terra Earth on top of this. So that way you get extra damage output on your Earthquakes to hit Chi-Yu. And really, you're just hoping to get hit by fire type attacks so you can do more damage with your Earthquakes and then Terra. And I also put a Shell Bell on this as well. So yeah, these are my 3 favorite builds that have just been fun. I've been playing around with Chi-Yu raids. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. What builds have you been trying out that have worked really well? I know like some Azumarill builds have been pretty good, but let me know what your guys' favorites have been. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.